welcome to 2025. Happy New Year. And please welcome my guests tonight for our first edition of Uma Talks, the basics of wellness. Hi, guys. I think they're all hiding from me.
Hello.
There they go.
Hi.
Namaste.
Happy New Year. How are you guys doing?
Lovely so far.
Doing great. Staying busy like always.
I know. 2025 started with a bang. I don't know where everybody who's watching is in the world, but here in Northern Virginia, we got slammed with a snowstorm. And so it's been interesting, an interesting start. Well, before we jump into our topic tonight, I want to give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves because I'm sure that people that are watching my channel want to know who are these people with Uma and why are they experts to talk about the basics of wellness? Well, guys, I know many, many people, and trust me when I say my friends are top-notch in knowing what they know and doing what they do. So I'm going to start with Danae. Danae, please introduce yourself to everyone.
Hello, everybody. My name is Danae, here with Danae, Healing Energy, Rebalancing Everything. And I am a practitioner as well at the Lotus and the Light Metaphysical Center in Manassas, Virginia. I am a Reiki practitioner, massage therapist, doTERRA wellness advocate, and much more. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much, Uma, for thinking of me to do this wellness talk.
I'm so happy to have you here. Yes, she is my weekly co-host for Uma's Lotus Lounge, and I am so happy that you are here. And I see a couple people coming in. Hello, Aphrodisiac. Hello, Alicia. You guys, if you can see the comments, there, you got a shout out, Meta, from Afro, and Alicia's there in the comments. Thank you guys for joining us. All right, Rachel, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. My name is Rachel. I am the owner and CEO of Cypress Rose LLC. Hello. I'm also the lead healer there. I am trained very, very well, might I add, in Reiki, integrated energy therapy, as well as access bars, along with a amazing tarot reader, might I add, if I'm going to go ahead and brag on myself just a little bit. And I'm also a lifelong student of Uma's as well. And I'm so happy to be here to hang out with you guys and to have some nice wellness discussions.
I love it. Welcome in, Rachel. And she is thebomb.com at readings, just like Danae. And finally, all the way from India. No, I'm kidding. He's here. He's back here. Yogi, what do we call you by now? I know your old name. What do we call you by now? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. So it depends on where you have seen me. You know, when in the streaming space, everybody knows me as Metaphysical. But this time, more than a year ago, I actually traveled to Rishikesh, India, to study yoga. I've been self-studying for yoga for about 5 years and on the yogic path. And I spent about 7 months out of the country studying Himalayan Kundalini yoga in the Himalayan region of Rishikesh, India. And I traveled all around India. And, the guru that I studied with, he whispered the name into my ear that was Ganesha. So I actually have taken Guru Diksha, which is basically the name given by the guru, as Ganesha. So, and there's actually a really funny story about that. It's about, going on about 14 years ago, whenever I was in college, my professor, I was forgetting everything. My professor, she said, you need to come up with a mantra for yourself. Hindsight is always 20/20.
Right.
So I thought about that and I was like, this is how yoga is now entering my life. And I came up with a mantra within a few days and it was like, I've got a memory like an elephant. And fast forward going to Rishikesh, the guru whispers in my ear, Ganesha, because Ganesha is the elephant god. So,
yes.
And also, whenever we were in the streaming world, we were chanting Ganesha mantras before we left, didn't we?
We did. We totally did. I love that story. And I love your name because a lot of people don't know Uma is not my birth name. It was the name given to me by my guru. And I am a strong advocate and discipline, a disciple of yoga. I'm a yogini. So I can't wait to hear the information Ganesha is going to bring to us tonight. All right, so our topic for tonight, by the way, guys, a lot of you might be, we're having kickback on one of the mics, so I'm going to ask everybody to just mute until you have to talk. I don't know if it's my mic. I hope it's not my mic. But some people were asking me earlier today, what is Uma Talks and what is this about? Well, I am the owner and CEO of the Lotus and Light Metaphysical Center for the past 15 years. I've worked with over 15,000 people. I am the author of The Awakened Life and Amazon best-selling author of Chronicles of a Spirit Walker. And I have to tell you something. There is never been more of a need for people to return to basics. And in working with my clients, in seeing what's going on in the world today, I just feel called to share a lot of the knowledge and wisdom and experience I have, and that with my friends, to bring people to an understanding that your life can be what you make it. And you don't need a lot of things, as my friends will tell you. And there's so much ways that you can achieve peace and health and harmony within yourself and health and wellness. Now, we know that the healthcare industry in America is something that has been talked about for years and years and years. Things hit a boiling point last year when we had the execution, because that's what it was, of a healthcare CEO, the United Healthcare CEO, in broad daylight by a murderer, right? Allegedly. I think I have to say allegedly until, all of this goes to court and whatnot. But here's the thing. We can take care of ourselves, and we can also work with Western medicine, right? So I have to set a disclaimer that everything we talk about, all our information that we share here tonight, it is for your good and for it to help you. But also, please do not replace your healthcare team, your healthcare practices, your doctors, right? Don't replace that with anything we say here. It is supposed to work in tandem with the healthcare system that we have currently. So the topic for tonight is the basics of wellness, because as we start 2025, I want to go back to basics. And I feel there's 4 areas we can focus on increasing wellness for ourselves. There is spiritual health, there is emotional health, mental health, and physical health. So what we're going to do is we're going to comb through each of these areas with suggestions, tips, advice from my friends and myself, and give you the opportunity to hear some really good wisdom. And of course, for those of you that are watching live, we encourage you to please like this video. We definitely want this video to trend on YouTube and Facebook and wherever it is shown. And we want this knowledge to get out because we do feel from the bottom of our hearts that this can be helpful. So I'm going to open it up to anybody who wants to jump in first. When we say physical health, what comes to mind for you, and what advice would you give for people that want to start working on their physical health? Go ahead.
I'd love to jump into this one. So first of all, my background is in yoga as well. And so I'm a huge yoga advocate. And just as heaven has many mansions, yoga has many mansions. So if your first, idea of whatever comes to your mind is that you are in some positions like downward facing dog or stretching yourself up like a cobra, just understand that those things are amazing and they give you a lot of benefit. But there are many, many, many different realms of yoga. And all of them are leading you towards meditation. All of them are leading you towards really just sitting with yourself and being with yourself and finding out who I am. But as it relates to physical health, one thing that I want to speak about, and thank you so much for the disclaimer earlier, Uma, about medical advice. And I do not, I'm not out here advocating that anyone follow and do anything that I say, but I am someone who just completed 12 days of fasting, 12 days of fasting with water and no food, only a little bit of salt to keep me going. And I wanted to share what I discovered about this is that for many people, if you are listening to me and you have never fasted before, it is a principle that finds itself back as far. It's a age-old technique for aligning yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually. But I want anyone who is listening to me right now, think about this. Now, have you ever made the conscious decision not to eat for a day? Have you ever made the conscious now with regard to, also what I want to say is that, there are certain conditions upon which even my question might not even be good. There are people that have eating disorders. So I'm speaking to the vast majority of people who have just been going about life and in the breakfast, lunch, dinner, these are things that are just wired into us, right? So I'm speaking to you all, to the general population. Have you ever made the conscious decision of just like, I am going to, I'm just going to have water today, and that is it. I'm making that conscious decision to allow my body to rest, because what's happening, what I realized from my experience, right, from fasting, is that I didn't realize that my body was using up so much energy and is doing so much work inside that I never gave my body an opportunity to just rest. The organs, now think about it in terms of what you do every day. Some of you on here go to a 9 to 5. And you work from Monday through Friday, and then you get off from Saturday and Sunday. So what's the different about like what's going on inside of you? There is a great reset that can happen whenever you make the conscious decision to say, on this particular day, it doesn't, and I would say even just 3 days is so incredibly powerful for you. Because what happens is especially on if you do even one day, it's amazing, because what you're doing is you're allowing your organs to just rest, to just take a breath, to give your organs a day off. But let's say if you go to 3 days, at 3 days, your body enters a state that is called autophagy, and autophagy is basically whenever you begin to create and generate more stem cells that are going to be healthy, that are actually going to, in a way, help to fight against any bad cells that have been hanging out in your system. So even Harvard journals have gone, if you go up to 7 days, your likelihood of acquiring cancer or any of these really serious illnesses drops dramatically by 70%. So I just wanted to advocate for fasting, because of course, depending, it's something that you want to make sure that you talk with your doctor about. My doctor was aware of every part of my journey going on this as well, and was making sure that I stayed hydrated and that I would be able to check in with them. But they were an advocate for me also doing this because they knew of the benefits. So I would love to suggest that to you, of making sure that you talk with your doctor and see if fasting is something that you want to do to give your body a break to start this new year.
That is a great topic to start with. I see Afro said he likes juicing. Alicia said amazing. I want to kick this over to Danae, because as long as I've been friends with Danae, she is an avid faster, but she doesn't fast. Well, let me let Danae talk about it, what her fasting schedule looks like. Every time I hang out with her, she's in a fast. So let me let her.
So what I do is quarterly fast. So when the season changes, I give my body a reset. I start off with a liquid fast. I haven't gone a day without, but I start off with the liquid fast. I see how long I can do that. Then I move into juicing, and then I move into smoothies. And then I try my best to see how long I can go with the vegan detox, soup, salads, smoothies, all raw, soups can't be raw, but just trying that out is a nice reset for the season. But also you're starting to eat more local. You're starting to eat fresh. Whatever's in the season is what your body needs. We're in the mix of winter right now. So there are certain things that are really going to help our body and that our body's really going to be craving at that time, especially vitamin D, since it's getting dark early. So I am so with the water fast. Your body, I'm telling you, it talks to you in so many beautiful ways. And I'm a strong believer in integrative medicine, but I will save that talk for later. But I love doing my detox, my fast, cleanse the body, cleanse the mind, and it won't just stop on a physical level. Okay. That's the joy of all of this. And I know Rachel has some goodies she wants to share. So tell us, Rachel.
I was just going to say, I don't know if Rachel fasts. She'll let us know. But I do know that Rachel is very particular about what she puts in her mouth. So go ahead, Rachel. Tell us about your fasting habits.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to start by saying that I actually love Ganesha's analogy of how we're not working every day, so why are our organs working the same way every day? So I really appreciate that new perspective. Thank you. And for me personally, it's very much my relationship with food that I focus on specifically, more so than like fasting and things like that. As you said, I am very particular about what I put in my body, what I put in my mouth, what comes in. And what I have found is that one of the things that I'll focus towards the most is specifically like things that would fall into the category of like life-giving foods, like energy-giving foods. So definitely those like hearty leafy greens. I've also noticed that root vegetables are very, very good for my soul, especially if you put it in a soup or you stew it up. I love it. But the main focus is ensuring that the things that I'm putting into my body are working for me and not against me. Especially as I've begun to come into like slowly moving into my 30s and things like that, and noticing the changes in my body as well. Like, for example, if I wanted to have a nice slice of pizza, me and that pizza are going to fight the whole way through. So recognizing that how I'm eating is also directly related to how I'm feeling, and not just from like a physical standpoint, but from an emotional standpoint as well, is very, very important for me.
I absolutely love that. And I want to say something real quick before I forget. That was absolutely amazing what you said. And I just want to add to that real quick is if you're pumping into a grocery store, you've got to make sure you get yourself out of the middle of the store and get to the outskirts of the store.
Yep.
The outskirts of the store are going to give you the food that she's talking about, the food that's been touched by the sun, the food that has life to it and that is life-giving for you. We spend too much time in the middle aisles, and that's because we have so much sugar and so many different things that they are putting in. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different things that are in our foods. And you don't have to take my word for it. Just go and look at the label. If there's anything on that label that you cannot read or pronounce and you can't really particularly understand, you need to get to the outskirts of the because you can look at the grocery store and say, oh, that's an orange, that's an apple, okay. You know what I mean? Get into more of that.
It's very true because I learned that from a nutritionist. She told me not to go into the middle aisles because it was all, like you said, fake food, additives and stuff. And then it's like you had to do a box when you go into the grocery store. You go to your fruits and veggies, then you go to the right side was like the dairies, the yogurts, the eggs. And then the back was the meats, then the far left was the freezer aisle, which she also wanted me to like avoid as well. So thank you for pointing that out. If you guys are shopping, keep that in mind. And we're not saying you have to cut it all out right now. Remember, habits take 3 weeks to a month for things to kick in. what you want to do right now is the next time you go to the grocery store, when you get to the checkout counter, look in your cart and divide your cart with the items that you got from the outskirts, as we've told you, and the items you got from the inside. If the majority of your stuff is coming from the inside, that's probably why you're not feeling your best. But if the majority of stuff in your cart is coming from the outskirts, you're beginning your path to wellness. The one thing I want to say about fasting, I used to do the water fast. The longest I did was 10 days, no food, just water. I used to do Ramadan fasting because my mom's Muslim. So I used to do where we didn't eat, for the whole day. And I can't do that anymore. And I'll be honest, I'm 47 this month, and it's harder for me. What I have found that really works though, and I don't know if you guys do this and I'd like your input, I do intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting is where you eat within a certain time frame and then you don't eat. And you could do, there's 24 hours in a day. So you could do where you eat for, 6 hours, no, what's it? 8 hours of the day and then fast for 16, or 6 hours of the day and fast for 18. I want to get to that place where it's 6 and 18, but right now I'm at 8 and 16, where I eat between the hours of 1 to 9 p.m., which is the 8 hours, and then I fast from 9 p.m. all the way to 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, the one thing I'll say about intermittent fasting is you have to do it to what feels comfortable to you. How do you guys intermittent fast? And what's been your experience?
I have done intermittent fasting. I'm not doing it currently because I am rebuilding my relationship with food and things like that. So enjoying that space. But I have done the intermittent fasting. And with the intermittent fasting, I did notice from an energy standpoint, I had a lot more energy in my day. I also didn't feel as sluggish throughout my day. At that point, I was working at I had 10 hours to eat, like a 10-hour space. And that seemed to be like my sweet spot, because when I tried to shrink it didn't quite work out too well for me. And then when I went any bigger, it was like, oh, this is just regular life. But yeah, so for me personally, I noticed that I had a lot more energy. I didn't feel as sluggish throughout the day. I was also mentally clearer as well. And it also brought a lot of awareness to what I was eating as well.
Anyone else? Danae, Ganesha?
Yeah.
I've been, go ahead, Danae.
Oh, I was going to say that is a big one. In addition to the blood type diet, I'll save that for later. I can't even say the word, but we all know what it is. That is one of the best for anybody who wants to try something but isn't sure they can go without water. I highly, strongly suggest you try that out first, because then you're eating within a certain time frame. You're retraining your body, and it allows it to get onto a system that works best for you. So yes, I love it. I do it. I'm not currently doing it right now, but that is something that I highly suggest.
So we had some great comments in the comment section. Z Ozine said they recommend the Yuka app. It's free and you can scan anything with a barcode to see if it has any harmful additives. And Mr. 6'6" is in the building. He's actually going to be on our panel for February, where we will focus our talks on love and relationships. So, hey, 6. Now, Alicia has a very good concern. She said the hard part about fasting is, what if you have people in your house? You have to cook for your kid or cook for your spouse. How do you handle that?
One thing that I'll say is that no matter what type of fasting you're doing, whether it's intermittent fasting, whether it's doing 24 hours, whether it's 7 days, whatever your fast looks like, you are going to experience some serious mental games. When I tell you, every single reason why you could not fast will start to come up. Even this reason right now. Because something about your mind is even because we're having a conversation now, something about your mind is even contemplating potentially doing this or seeing how it would fit into your life. But then the question comes as a resistance for the responsibilities that you know that you have. And my response to it is, oh, what the heck, do whatever it takes. Because what you're doing is you're standing 10 toes down for you. In your family, in your household, no matter what's going on, if you set a goal for yourself, and I'm not saying it has to be elaborate, but you can be able to iron it in that you would have either an intermittent fasting schedule, or if you wanted to do a 24-hour fast, it's very easy to do, you know. But what I will say is that intermittent fasting as well, too, it plays some wicked mind games with you as well. Say, because for a long time, I only ate between 12 and 6 o'clock. Azine is my friend that's in the building right now, too. And he'll tell you that, you know, that I will do that. You know what I mean? I will go on intermittent fasting schedules. And essentially what you have to do is you have to stand 10 toes down on it. And and make sure that your family is aware of everything that's going on and how they can be able to encourage you. You know what I mean? Because it's at the end of the day, it's your goal. It's your thing. Okay. So, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. Be soft with it, because your mind is already going to give you some kickback. Because I mean, just imagine it. We go to sleep, we wake up, we work, we do this thing, we do that thing. But the moment that we make a conscious decision to say, I'm not eating breakfast this morning, I'm only eating between 12 and 6 today, there's a glitch in the matrix. And now your body is trying to figure out, okay, what is going on? Why is this person doing it? And you shift things. Intermittent fasting, it really detoxifies you. It's a longer process, but over days you just detoxify. And especially if anybody's in here looking to release weight, intermittent fasting is one of the best ways I know how to do that, period.
I love that he gave you props. He said, even though I accidentally tempted him with snacks after 6 p.m., Ganesha remains the intermittent fasting king. I love it. I love it. But wait, we have a great question here from Alicia. Alicia said, do you have any tips from any one of you guys? What do you tell your mind? And we're really going to get to the mental health stuff in a second, but concerning fasting, what tips do you guys tell your mind when I just want that piece of fried chicken. Ooh, I just want that ice cream. What do you guys tell your mind?
You gotta have affirmations or mantras to live by. One of my favorite is, I owe it to myself to be disciplined. I owe it to myself to be consistent. I owe it to myself to stay focused. It reprioritizes your mind. You gotta knock those thoughts out of your mind as soon as they come, because then you're gonna be starting that thing all over again the next day.
Facts. All right.
I would also say that just really quickly, I would also say is that whenever you shift one thing, you can also add in another, right? So it's almost like smoking, right? If I'm going to be able to smoke, I'm going to be able to quit smoking if I have something to fill its place. You know, just real quickly, and this is physical health, is that I'm someone who used to smoke cigarettes. And if you're here and you smoke cigarettes and you want to know how to quit smoke cigarettes, I will tell you how. For me, the patches did work, but many people don't read the directions with the patches. What you have to do is you have to set a date in the future that is the 5th, today's the 1st, or today is the 8th. I'm stopping cigarette smoking on January 22nd. I know mentally that date is the day that I'm going to stop smoking. And the day before I get there, I take all the paraphernalia of smoking and I throw it in the trash. And then the next day I woke up in the morning and I replaced my cigarette smoking with a patch on my stomach. And every day I just kept putting that patch no matter what. So there has to be something to put in there. Maybe it's journaling for you. Maybe it's cooking for you. Maybe it's volunteering. Maybe it's doing something that you haven't been doing that you would love to do that you could fill its place with, so you don't think about the food so much.
I love that. You guys are awesome. All right. Raven said, make sure you keep practices from your fast so that you do not flood your body with the same foods. Whenever you go on any journey with food, it's important to take something healthy with you. I think these are all really great tips for physical health. I know we have so much more that we can talk about, but we still have 3 other areas
Yes.
of wellness to get to. And I am so pleased with myself right now that I chose this panel because, way to go, Uma. This was awesome. All right,
Yes.
let's move along to emotional health. Now, I know that is a topic that most people don't really talk about. When they talk about getting healthy, they definitely talk about physical health, and some might talk about mental. Rarely do we talk about spiritual and emotional. So I'm going to kick this over to Rachel to start us off. What, in your mind, is the definition of emotional health, in your opinion? And what advice do you have for people who want to have an emotionally healthy life?
I would say emotional wellness is being able to feel your emotions and to the point that you are able to work with them and not such that they are running the show. Because oftentimes we will get into this space with our emotions where they feel so big and so overwhelming, or it's just so intense that we just let that run the show. We take a back seat and the anger takes hold and just does whatever. We take a back seat and the immense joy takes hold and just goes with whatever, which in that case doesn't seem like a bad thing, right? But at the end of the day, we still want to sit and ensure that we are in the seat, that the emotions are not the one running the show all the time. We want to be able to feel them, to process them, to recognize that they are in fact a guide to whatever is going on. Like, for example, one thing I'll always tell people is that if you are experiencing anger, your anger is an energy that is telling you that something's not working. Your mission now is to determine what it is that's not working so we can do something about it. So we can adjust and make some moves and say, okay, if this thing is angering me here, what, if anything, can I do about it? And sometimes it's not necessarily that there is something that we can do about it. Sometimes it's just a perspective shift. And that is just as important to our emotional wellness as anything else, is ensuring that we are allowing those perspective shifts to change. So, like, for example, I was having an argument with someone and I wanted to sit in that argument so bad, but the perspective shift kept coming in and it kept coming in, and I had to allow that shift. If we want to make any progress, we have to allow those emotions to pass. It's been said that you only feel an emotion for 90 seconds. Anything after that 90 seconds is a choice. So what are we choosing in the space of our emotions? Are we choosing to allow the emotions to run the show, whether it be consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously? Because it is still a choice. Remember that. So allowing those emotions to come in, allowing ourselves to feel those emotions, and then allowing ourselves to do something with that, to process that, however it is that we need to process that. I'm personally a big fan of journaling. That's my biggest way to get all of the emotions out so that I can see where we are in that space, so that I'm not just sitting with it permanently. We want to take them somewhere. We want to grow with them. We want to grow through them sometimes as well, working our way up that emotional guidance scale.
I love all of this. And it really sounds, everything you said sounds like have emotional intelligence. And I've been really hammering home this point. I recently unveiled last year a new program for my clients, the Emotional Intelligence Program. It's the Lotus Bloom, where I work with people for 4 weeks and help them develop their emotional intelligence. Because the one thing I've been doing research on is that emotional intelligence is really beginning to take the forefront, where we're actually getting statistics come in showing that bosses, CEOs, owners of companies are looking for people with high emotional intelligence, because they're finding out that these people work better, they're in control of their emotions, like you said, they're better employees, and they last longer at the companies that they're with. So it's now, bosses aren't looking just for your mental IQ, they're also looking for your emotional IQ. What tips to Danae and Ganesha, and also you too, Rachel, do you guys have for people who struggle getting their emotions under control? Because I agree with you wholeheartedly, Rachel. It is our choice to feel the way we feel. And you guys know I'm a live streamer on several apps, and I get a lot of people that want the relationship readings, and they tell me over and over again, I can't control how I feel. I love him, even though he's cheating on me and gave me STDs. I love him, you know. I'm like, but how could you love somebody, right? And then when I get them to start thinking that way, they're like, I don't know, I can't help it. What would you say to people who say they can't help their emotions?
I would
Two things. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So I personally would say that a lot of times when I just feel how I feel and I don't want to do anything else about it, blah, blah, blah. It's oftentimes that we have to sit with that emotion. We have to sit with whatever emotion that is, because oftentimes there is an avoidance piece that I've seen in that. And there is an emotion that we don't necessarily want to acknowledge. There's an emotion we don't necessarily know what to do with, something along those lines. So oftentimes it's that we have to sit in the discomfort to feel what's really going on there so we can get to the background, to the root.
Wow.
I love that. For me, it all goes back to self-care, self-love, self-development. You're putting all this energy outside of yourself, but what's putting energy inside of you? It's not selfish. It's not narcissistic for you to refocus on the most important person right now in your emotional wellness, which is you. So that's my spit.
I have a question to Ganesha. Why are people so afraid to do what Danae and Rachel are asking? Why are people so afraid to, one, sit with the pain, and then two, to take care of themselves, as Danae says?
I think the first thing that comes to me is our conditioning. You know, we've been conditioned in such a way not to be honest about what is coming up inside of us, and not sharing it for fear of persecution, for fear of shame, for fear of guilt, for fear of being seen as not enough. And the first step in an AA program is to admit that you have a problem, you know.
Well,
I'm just using that. The first step in an AA program when you walk in there, it's like, I'm an alcoholic.
I don't know why
what do I do now?
I don't know why you, as a yogi, chose violence tonight. Like, you're supposed to be loving.
Well, I say that because I also want to speak to an emotion that maybe doesn't get talked about a lot, that I think is very that pervades, you know, the social, you know, zeitgeist. And I feel like there's a lot of envy and there's a lot of jealousy in the world. And, you know, what's so interesting is, for me, just the subtext of jealousy and envy is, why would whatever there is out in this world, Creator, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, whatever you believe in, why is it that they would do more for this person than they would do for me? And so often we have people, you know, unfortunately, are in our circles, around us, you know, all, you know, in different ways, that they seem as though they're, you know, happy for everything that you do, but inside they're burning, you know? And what's so interesting about some of the things that you also said as well, too, is that, you know, every emotion is a path back to the soul. So you see this thing happening for someone else, and your initial reaction is just like, dang, I've been doing this and I've been doing that. Why am I not getting that attention? Why am I not doing that thing? When we can actually retexturize and recolor the emotional intelligence to say, no, that's my lighthouse. That is my path into my deepest expression of who God created me to be here. And I think what's important with, using that particular story is to say that we have to understand that our emotions are transient. They are passing through us, but they are not the truth of who we are. The truth of who we are is fulfilled, peaceful, whole, perfect, and complete unto itself. And anything that is unlike that is passing through, it is transient. And you acknowledge that, you see that, you journal, you share, and you allow it to move through you, knowing that you have an assignment here. Trust and believe. If you were born on this earth, just mathematically, it is the biggest gift ever, So with that, I just say that it's important for us to step back slightly from what's going on and what's coming up in our emotions to say, oh no, I'm having this experience. It's coloring my energy right now, but I know that this is not who I am. And right now I can make the decision to return to who I truly am.
I love that because I always say once I got into my 40s, I stopped giving a bleep, right? I stopped giving a bleep. And I think so many people struggle with accepting that they have emotions that is countergrained to everybody else's emotions. Case in point, I used to beat myself up so much if everybody wanted to take a trip somewhere and I just didn't want to go. And I just wanted to stay in my house. And they would beat me up. Oh, you're this, you're that. And then I would give in out of peer pressure and go. And then I would have a miserable time. Well, I just really wanted to be in my house. And why did I spend so much money? And why am I here? Right? And then I think once you get older, like you stop caring what people think about you. And I wish we could harness this superpower for younger people. I would love for 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds to be like, I don't care. I'm gonna do what feels right to me. That's one way I honor my emotional health, is just doing what makes me feel good, even though people call me selfish or manipulative or whatever else they call me. I'm just okay. What's one thing you guys each do for your own emotional health that maybe, trending or what other people are doing, or maybe just something unique to you?
To be quite honest, I talk to myself.
Okay.
To be quite honest, I just talk to myself. Oh, they're burning something in my house. I will talk myself through the emotions, through the feelings, through whatever is going on, so that I can see for where I'm at, how I'm feeling, and the perspective that I'm currently sitting at. And it gives me the opportunity to recognize, is this making sense? Because as I'm talking to myself, I'm hearing what I'm saying. And for me personally, being able to hear that helps a lot.
I can't even laugh at that because I recently, like about 2 years ago, started doing that. And I usually do it in my bathroom and I feel so embarrassed doing it. But man, you were so right. That thing is therapeutic.
I agree.
All my problems. Danae, what about you?
I would say as well that for me, for many years, I have been a journaler. And I think, now you can use, a lot of people use guided journals. I've actually never used one. And I think, I've used one, but I noticed that I always I feel like I've noticed other people and also in myself that I don't know if you get through the entire guided journal. Like it's always something like that. But if it's your own, if it's just blank, if it's your thoughts, and you commit yourself to allowing yourself um, to allow whatever's inside of you, whatever's in your mind, to just come out onto this paper and let it be there, it is amazing because you're thinking in ink, and it's from your brain to the pen to the universe. And I'm telling you, like, over the years with journaling, one thing that I will give to you all too, and this is a pro tip right here, is scripting. I don't know if any of you have ever tried scripting before, but it has worked for me in countless ways. The scripting process is essentially, right now it's January. So whenever you get off of, whenever we conclude with this talk and you want to try scripting, you go into your journal, or you just take a piece of paper and you write as though you're in the future. Like, it's January now, and where do I want to be in December 2025? And you say, Dear December 2025, you want to write with your feelings and your emotions. You want to think about thoughts, colors, patterns, fragrances. Oh, in December 25, I am just so happy and I feel so blessed because this year has just felt so incredible for me. I found the most amazing job working as an auto technician of a major company, and it came to me just kind of out of nowhere, but it was so in alignment, and you just want to decorate it with so much gratitude, so much imagery, so much of what you are painting into the world, and you will be shocked to see what happens over this year. But you have an opportunity to do that now too. So that's one thing that I do: journaling, scripting.
I love that because I call it, because with the law of attraction from Esther and Jerry Hicks, they taught us that was segment intending, like where you're kind of seeing it in the future and you're writing it. And let me tell you, you're so right. That thing is powerful. A lot of my journals, I look back and I was like, wow, I wrote about this moment. It's actually here on paper 3, 4, 5 years ago. Yeah. And I'm like, this is crazy, like just so crazy. All right. Anyone else?
I love it. Journal, therapy more mental, but therapy also helps with the emotional too, because I learned a different tool called tapping, and tapping kind of gets my emotions under control in a way that sometimes only other way will be breathing, the deep breathing, the focused breathing, the meditation. Therapy, in addition to the tapping, I feel like is one of those great emotional supports where it brings you back into the present moment. That's what's most important about that, being present.
And also, just to add to what you're saying, is that my friend Azine is also here in the comments, and he's a licensed clinical psychologist. So if there is anybody here that is watching or listening in on the show, he's able to take clients from anywhere. So definitely reach out to me or tap in with him if you are wanting a new therapist. He's absolutely exceptional, and I just wanted to advocate for him as well too.
I love that. And I'm going to do a shameless plug here to anybody who's watching this. On Facebook, I started a new Facebook group. It's called Manassas Metaphysical Wellness Collective. And the idea behind it is to connect all of the metaphysical practitioners within the DMV. I said Manassas, because that's the town where my business is in, but it's for anybody. So I welcome you, Ganesha and Danae and Rachel and your friend, right? And anybody who wants to join it, because I do want you guys to promote your services, your classes, your offerings, so that the community can know where to go and by personal recommendation. Speaking about your friend, this is a great segue into our tips for the basics of wellness with mental health. Now, in this country alone, we have seen a spike in mental health related injuries, killings, murders, theft, crime, all of the above. And I have been speaking on my platform for over 15 years about the lack of proper mental health treatments, practitioners, availability for people, regular people who, have Medicaid, who can't afford private practice and whatnot. What are your tips for people to think about when they're concerned about their mental health, outside of the very obvious answer, seek a therapist? Because I will stand 10 toes down on therapy saves lives. I was with a therapist for a long time. She healed me of a lot of my demons from my past, and actually had me cut off a lot of people from my past, because I didn't realize how toxic situations that I was in, until I had the eyesight of a professional looking at my life, and I was like, I got to move away from this group of people. It's not healthy for me. What would you guys recommend for mental health?
First and foremost, off top, meditation.
I knew it.
Yeah,
Meditation.
like that is the alpha, the omega, AZ, start, beginning, everything.
Real quick. Who here meditates? Because I think we all do.
Twice a day. Twice a day, every day. Yes, I'm telling you, like, if you are able to sit, and the thing that I tell everyone, when you first start meditating, your mind is not going to be quiet off the top. It's not going to happen, because you've trained your mind to think, to go. So that's what it's going to do. When you first start meditating, the main goal is observation. You're just watching the thoughts. You're seeing what's coming in, and the goal is to not interact with them, because we're very good at interacting with our thoughts. We get this random thought, I got to go to the grocery store. What do I need at the grocery store? I need eggs. Oh, I hope they got good eggs. Oh, I need some milk. I wonder what kind of milk, 2%, 1%? And you just keep going down the line there. It's just observation first and foremost. You're not going to start with a silent mind. And that's what people think when they first come into meditation, is that, oh, my mind is immediately going to be quiet. It took me a long time for my mind to ever get to a point of quiet. Yeah.
That's a big one. I definitely want everybody to contribute their talk about meditation. And I want to say this to whoever's watching, especially those of us in America. We are trained to be multifaceted. We are trained to always be, one hand over there, one hand over here, one leg over here, like just doing several things, multitasking. That's the word I'm looking for. We're considered efficient if we're multitasking, and meditation becomes painful for some people because it requires you to be singularly focused on just one thing and do nothing else but this one thing. And I think we have a really high rate of ADHD in the country, right? And that's really hard for people. So what tips would you guys say? There's two questions I have for each of you. What tips would you give for people? I love Rachel's tips about just be the observer. Don't try to interact with the thoughts. Just watch it go by. What tips do you guys have? And then also, what do you feel like after you've had a successful meditation? Because I think we need to tell people why we're so addicted to meditation.
So aside from the allowing it to just pass with the observation aspect, it does help when you are first meditating to start with guided meditations. Because just to sit there in silence in a quiet room, you'll feel a little weird at first. So even just like a little like peaceful music or just a guided meditation, you can find a bunch of them on Uma's YouTube page right now, literally right now. Very, very helpful. And after meditation, I am sitting in this place of complete calm. And like, especially if it's like, I've had a day where it's like been a busy day, especially my nighttime meditations lately. My nighttime meditations is where I notice the biggest change, because I've gone through an entire day. I'm high energy, moving, going. When I finally get to sit and regroup and recollect, come back into myself, see how the day was, and then let it all go, I just feel so light, so free. I just feel good about the day and my life and everything else. And I also feel a lot clearer about anything that I may have struggled with throughout the day as well.
I love that. Thank you. Danae, what about you?
So this is all bundled, and it also it goes into emotional and physical, but I'm just going to throw it out there. sound therapy, tapping, and massage. Okay? Sound therapy, tapping, and massage therapy. Most times my clients fall asleep. Whatever you were worried about, whatever you're stressed about melts right away. And then you come back, you get regrounded, and you're able to really see things for what they are in this present moment. So that mental sound therapy, I'm telling you. Have you heard Uma do her singing bowls, y'all?
Listen, I just had one on Sunday with 6 people and they were snoring. But I was going to say, I'm a massage therapist, but Danae is my massage therapist. And my God, I'm sitting here rubbing my elbow and I'm like, oh, I wish Danae was here. she's amazing at massage. Like there's, I don't know, God works through Danae when she massages. It's wild, but I like that. Yeah.
Touched by an angel.
Facts. All right. Let's bring it to the yogi guru from meditation. Teach us, oh wise
So
one.
one thing that I did want to say is that that sound healing is is definitely my superpower too. I thank you so much for bringing that up. And I also lead sound bath meditations and have taught a course on sound, it was sound healing, and that's definitely. Edgar Casey is actually someone who said that sound medicine and sound therapy would be the medicine of the future. So if you are attending sound baths, if you don't know who Edgar Casey is, he's an American. He was an ascended master of America. He's a modern American saint who his entire, facility is at Virginia Beach, right? In the Virginia Beach area. But anyway, the other thing that I did really, really want to mention outside of sound therapy as well is, and this has been a huge for me in terms of meditation, is that there's essentially 2 different types of meditation. There is the passive meditations, and then there's also active meditation. Active meditation, really the best active meditation, if you are not someone who feels like you just want to sit in a particular position and close your eyes, is to dance. Mm-hmm. And what I will say is that when you move the body, you free the mind. Because what dance does, right? The reason why there are Indian yogis and people who meditate that can sit there for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour. I've seen some people sit in meditation as long as 8 or more hours.
Wow.
And they can sit in these postures is because they have so relentlessly done everything to purify their bodies and also create flexibility in their bodies to the degree that they can be in that position. But the thing about it is if you are, say you're a mother and you have 5 children that you got to look after, you might be carrying so much tension up here in your shoulders that you need massage therapy for. It's because you have a lot of responsibility on you. And what happens is that actually creates a bio-memory inside of you. So whenever you start to even move your shoulders like this in a yoga class, you start to maybe even have these little glimpses of responsibilities that you've had or anything just kind of coming across the mirror of your mind, because all of our experiences that we've had, from being with our friends to getting angry to having sex to doing this thing, it all at some point gets stored in our body. And in order to reset our body, we have to move in such a way. Mm-hmm. Now, let me tell you, is that when you dance for the sake of doing a particular move, that's more like the ego dancing. That's more like a physical exercise. But when you dance ecstatically to the point that you forget that you're dancing, that's when it becomes a meditation. And so that's whenever you actually free your mind, is when you have let go of trying to control how your body is moving and letting your body do what it wants to really do in order to release that out of your body. And so one of the best things that I would suggest for you to do is to sit down and find a list, and you can start small, maybe 30, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but find a list of singers singers or musicians that are making music, and it seems as though it's dedicated specifically to you. And you take that playlist and you dance in that playlist. And also know that you're talking to someone who's been completely crippled before. So I'm also, this is not an ableist thing, but no matter what position you are, even if you're here on this stream and you've been in a wheelchair or you're on crutches, whatever you are, you can find meditation, and you can find movement at any point, even if it's just your finger that's wiggling around and doing the dance, right? So I want to make this accessible for everybody. But dance dance really, really, if you allow yourself to get into the frequency of dance and allow yourself to dance ecstatically, it can become one of the highest meditations you experience. And then you lay down and you allow all those energies to come over you, and you experience the part of yourself that isn't just this physical body. There's a part of you, if meditators will understand that when you're sitting in meditation, you may have tears that just start streaming from your eyes whenever you start to feel that other thing, okay? But that's for you to experience. Nobody can really, it's very unique to everyone, but there is that other thing that you experience when you get into meditation. And so I encourage you, with all of the methods that have been shared, to understand that there's different dimensions to how you can access that state.
I so appreciate you saying that, because I remember when I was a kid, a teenager, I used to dance in my room. Y'all remember that? You got your music, and I would dance in my room, and I felt so free. And it was just I danced so much in my room that my mom and my dad put up, they put a wall mirror on one of the walls. It was just all mirror. And so I could look at myself dancing. I was so taken with dancing, but I would never dance at parties and stuff. It was just be in my room. I was so shy, right? And I have an autoimmune disorder that has really crippled my body. It's a rheumatoid arthritis. So there's days I just can't, I'm having issues with my arm right now. And thank you to both of you for mentioning this dance part, because tomorrow I'm going to get up and I'm going to play Kanye West Fade, because that song with Tiana Taylor, if you know, you know. And I'm going to dance and I'm going to enjoy it. And just for fun, I want to know, for the three of you, what would be the songs that would get you moving that you just can't stop? Like for me, it's the Kanye West Fade.
I don't have titles off the top of my head, but it's soca.
Anything soca.
Oh yes, soca. Anything soca.
I'm telling you, I'll be in front of the altar, doing exactly what you were describing, Ganesha, and just losing myself to the rhythm, to the dance, to the motion of my body, and just having a grand old time until I come back in. And by the time I tell you I come back in, I'm immediately down, and I'm on my knees in front of the altar, thank you.
I love it.
Oh my goodness! I remember back before I left the country, my album was Renaissance from start to finish, and when it got to Church Girl, I was twerking like I was walking down the aisle at 9:00 in the morning on Sunday. I'm telling you.
Oh, Afro said a good one. He said, "What is Love" by Hathaway. That's a good one. That's an oldie but goldie.
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
All right. Our final tip for tonight. This has been so great. I wish I could talk to you guys for 3 hours, but I'm going to plan that. I have a plan for that happening. So I'm going to make that happen. But for the purpose of this podcast tonight, our last tip is spiritual health. Now, I know a lot of people that are listening to this podcast are maybe very in tune with their spirituality, but let's pretend there are a couple of muggles out here who have no clue what you're talking about. and they want to know, what can I do for my spiritual health? Why should I do anything for my spiritual health? How important is it to have good spiritual health? Whoever wants to jump in, what would you guys say to them?
Highly important. Highly important. I would say meditation, prayer, and consistency with gratitude. So meditation, prayer, consistent with gratitude is essential every day. You and your relationship with God, okay? Being present in the moment. How essential is that? And how simplistic can it really be when you just take a moment to be thankful and grateful for the things that you have, for the blessings that are here from the Creator?
I love that. Thank you. Anyone else?
I would argue and say that everything we've talked about, from physical, mental, emotional, is already spiritual tips too. Because the thing about spirituality is that it is all encompassing. And recognizing that it is all encompassing, it is your life, choosing to, and actively making your life beautiful by your definition. And specifically by your definition is spirituality. It is the choice to live as you want, how you want, and however that looks for you is however that looks for you, and that's your business. That's how I like to look at it. It's like the magic of being able to choose for you. But you have to be willing to exercise that choice, that power of choice, because it is a power. That is where it starts.
I love that you both said that. And Afro said he starts his morning every morning with 10 minutes of sound bath. That's amazing, because we just talked about the benefits of sound therapy. And this is where I struggle, because I am a metaphysical mentor, a spiritual teacher for the past 15 years. And a lot of people look at my business like it's a non-essential, right? It's like, oh, that's for people who have time and money on their hands. But it's so hard living in a 3D world, where I'm trying to say to people, if you pay attention to your spiritual health, then everything else flows. Your mental flows, your emotional, your physical, everything's in alignment. So the way I would say it is, you start at the top and work your way down to the bottom. The bottom is the physical. A lot of people, especially in this country, in America, when they have, like, say, back pain, they say, oh, okay, I have back pain. And they go to a doctor, and the doctor fixes the back pain. But it comes back again. And people never question why. Why does it come back again? And that's because when you go up through the layers of your aura, it starts in the spiritual layer. And until you address that pain that you have in your spiritual aura, if you're just fixing the body is the symptom. It's not the root cause of what the pain is. So I love what everybody's saying about what to do for your spiritual health. What about you, Ganesha? What tips do you have for spiritual health, or why it's important?
Yeah, I think as something, there's two things that just popped into my mind for spiritual health. Is the first thing is about asking better questions. One guest that was on that I was so happy to interview has been a long-time person that I had studied, Dr. Noah St. John. And, working with his material has changed my life in so many different ways. And what I'll say is that a lot of times, we ask questions that just don't serve us. And the questions we'll ask is just like, why is this happening to me? We'll ask questions like, why am I here? What is, we ask different questions that maybe sometimes feel disempowering, and they have a disempowering energy. But the question that, all questions we can ask, also leading into what you're saying, right, Uma, is that why, to reframe the question, because whenever you ask a question, your mind automatically, quicker than you can think, begins to search for the answer. if I start asking the question, why does it seem so easy for me to connect with my energy? Why is it so easy for me to understand myself more than I do now? Why is it so easy for me to choose better for myself? Instead of the disempowering questions, if we just begin to start asking ourselves more empowering questions, that can actually create a bridge for us to experience those other things. Now that's on the on the question side. That's on the thing that you can do all of the time, right? Constantly recontextualizing it. Why I have on my bathroom door or my bathroom window, you can even place up a question, right? That you just one question, not a bunch of questions, but one question, right? Is you can place a question up there to say, why am I so loved? Why am I experiencing an abundance of love in my heart each and every day? If that's the question that you see each and every single time that you go to the bathroom, it's not like you have to spend 5, 10, 20, 15, 32 hours meditating all the time. That is one way of connecting with yourself spiritually in an unconscious way. You don't, I'm just reading this, I read it, I get out of the shower, I'm brushing my teeth. And also maybe you're not even consciously reading it, but your brain has already made the association that this question is on the mirror of your bathroom. And now every day your mind is trying to figure out, why do I love myself so much? Why am I connecting with the things in my energy that should be shifted so that I can lift? And I think that's, amazing. But if there's something you also want to do in the physical, one of the most amazing tips that I can ever give you, ever, ever, ever. I mean, this is the most amazing tip I can ever give you from my guru, is feed people. And I'm talking about actual food. People out in this world are hungry. There are more than 700, approaching over 800,000 people who are homeless here in America, and it's a record high since post-COVID measures that were taken to keep people in their homes. But the biggest and best thing that you can do to also set your spiritual health, your physical health, your mental health, every part of your experience in life is to feed someone. You know it yourself when you are so hungry and you eat something and it satiates that desire for food inside of you. You know that feeling of what it means. Oh, this piece of chicken. Oh, this biscuit. Oh, this cracker. If you haven't had anything all day long, what makes you think that if you do that for somebody else and they have that experience, that energy doesn't transfer to you, that energy doesn't come to support you with any and everything that you have on your heart that you want to serve and share your gifts with the world? Feeding people is one of the most phenomenal paths to liberating from all spiritual struggle, from all the things, right? We're on this planet. We have to help each other. We have to feed each other if we're hungry. So, and it doesn't take much. You can go take some of your money every month, of the money that you get every month. Go to Aldi's, put some grilled chicken in a bag, some different things, some water, and just go hand it out to people that you think could benefit from it. That's just a way to start. So that's my topic on that.
I love that you say that, because I love to feed people. I think each one of you have eaten at my house at some point, because I love to cook. I love feeding my my partner and my children, and I love when my friends come over and I have food in the fridge and I'm like, here, have some of this, taste this. And You know, like, I'll admit life got really busy and I haven't been able to do a lot of things that I love. And I really love that you say that because a lot of people were asking me, Uma, what are you doing for your birthday? My birthday is January 19th. And they're like, oh, you know, do you want to go out here? Do you want to go there? Do you want to fly here? And I'm just like, you know what I really want is to have a group of the people that are very important to me, which is you three and other people, you know, that are in the Lotus Lounge family and Sarah and Zarima. And I just want people to come to my house and I want us all to cook and to just stay at the house and eat and cook and play games and relax. And bring your sleeping bags, bring your mattresses. I don't care. We have a lot of space in this house and just have a big old sleepover. Because my birthday is Sunday, January 19th, the same day that, you know, that's the week that Trump is getting reelected and all of that. So it's going to be crazy in our area, Northern Virginia. And I don't really want to go out. I want to stay inside with the people that I love. And I think I'm going to really make that happen. I'm not going to plan on anything else. And I think based off of what you said, it was so powerful. I was going to say meta, Ganesha, that I think once a month, I'm going to do that. Once a month, I'm just going to have a menu and I'm going to send it to a few select people and say, I'm cooking this today. If you want to drop in, you're more than welcome to. And we're going to do it as a healing trade, meaning whoever comes to the house, you get to eat for free, but you have to give something in return to either myself or somebody there, whether it's a massage or a yoga session or a Reiki session or access bars. You have to just give something to anybody in the house as a gift. And I'm gonna dedicate the whole day to it. I'm not gonna work. I'm just gonna say for the whole day, this is what I'm cooking, and you guys can come by. I think that feels good. What do you guys think about what Ganesha said?
That feels good. Oh, yeah. That feels right.
That's absolutely
beautiful.
I love
Soulful.
It.
Soul food. Okay.
Soul food.
Right.
The real definition of soul food. I love it. I love it. Right. Guys, I want to thank you guys so much for showing up and sharing your incredible wisdom. We have the comment section there. If you guys could, as we're wrapping up, please drop your links, how people could get in touch with you if they want to follow you on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you're at. And just one by one, go through and let people know what you have coming up this month or this year or anything important. Are you writing a book? Are you starting a new channel? Let us know what your plans are for 2025 so that we can know how to support each of you.
Okay. So yes, I am doing all of the above, starting a podcast, writing a book, in the middle of a deck. I am so excited to continue on my In Memory of Grief support group every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Meetup.com, the Lotus and the Light. I am so excited. You guys can find me, Queen DJ 444 on IG, here with Danae at gmail.com. Thank you so much, Uma, for putting this together. Rachel, Meta. Oh, I wrote your name down, but my pen stopped working. You guys freaking rock. You guys are so amazing. I am blessed to be here amongst you guys with this beautiful panel. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
And don't go anywhere, Danae, because we're going to go back into the back room before we let all you guys go. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. Lo, thank you so much, Uma, for inviting me here. I am so blessed to spend, to share this panel with you, with all of you wonderful ladies. Danae, it's been a while since we were down there in Virginia, but I'm so happy to see you. And also Danielle, it's been such a pleasure to, be on this podcast with you. It's been great energy. So for me this really, really, really touched my heart tonight because, I really love you, Uma, and I think the world of you. And I'm so happy to be here, and I'm excited to be down here for your birthday. And I'm also excited to you've been on my heart and you've been on my mind where I've been, the life of a yogi, doing this thing, that thing. Yeah. But you've been on my I'm pledging to you on this platform that I want to really, really connect with you in this 2025 and also create even more with you. Danae, Danielle, I will also love to connect with you even more and see what we can create in community here. I will say that I am so excited that I am, again, I'm a Himalayan Kundalini yoga teacher and sound healer. I am teaching at a yoga studio here in Washington, D.C. If anybody is at Vita Fitness, I may soon be a provider at Bali and Springs. And I've also been teaching my own, intensive course that will be starting back up here soon with Tacoma Metaphysical Chapel. And I am declaring it now that I'm going to be down there at the Lotus and the Light Metaphysical Center very soon. Even if I'm not just down there facilitating, I'm coming. I'm gonna be down there. But it's about a hike and a half to get down there from where I am. But I declare I'm coming down there. And I'm going to enjoy the vibes over there and also be available in the Manassas community as well too.
I really appreciate that because I'm making moves. I'm going to tell you guys behind the scenes, and I have my eyes on all three of you and our relationships deepening this year. So thank you so much for telling me that. Don't forget, guys, drop your stuff in the comment section. So not the private chat. You got to hit the comments on the top right, and then that's where the chat is, where everybody can see your stuff. All right, Rachel, you're up.
Hello. So right now I'm coming back from a nice little break, feeling rejuvenated, lovely, rested. And
Good.
At this point, I am coming back to start doing lives. I'm very excited to start doing lives again and providing readings for all of the people. And I have a new deck. I'm very excited. It's the Black Tarot. It's going to be a great time. So find me on Facebook, IG, TikTok, because I found out you actually don't have to have 1,000 followers to go live on TikTok. You just have to have 1,000 to get paid for it.
Right.
So right now it's just spreading the love. So lots of free talks, lots of free readings. So come hang out. And my link tree is in the comments, and you'll find all of my socials under there.
Oh, you got to put it in the comments here because you put it in the private chat. So just top right corner comments.
I ended up going straight to YouTube because it was already open.
Okay, got you. For me, guys, like I said, I own the center, the Lotus and Light Metaphysical Center, located in Manassas, Virginia. I've dropped my website in the comments, thelotusandthelight.com. I have a big event coming up on Saturday, January 25th. It is my annual mentorship program that both Rachel and Danae went through. It is an amazing life transformational program. Please check it out. It's 8 weeks long. You can either do it at the center on Saturdays or online. For those of you that are not in the DMV area, you can do it online on Sundays. All right. So just follow that link, bit.ly/Sacred Lotus 2025. And this year we did start back the Lotus Book Club. But the Lotus Book Club is only spiritual metaphysical books. And if you want to see the list of books we already pre-selected for the year, just follow that link, bit.ly/Lotus Book Club 0125. The book that we are starting with for January is Ask and It Is Given. It is a manifestation law of attraction book by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And then you can see the whole list. I've picked out all the books for December. And I would love to have you guys come and join me, and let's have some spiritual discussions about what we read. Thank you to everybody who came out here. Oh, what is that? What is that? Is that another book? Is that your book?
Well, it was an Esther and Jerry Hicks book.
Okay.
That's on my. It was on my table. But yes, I am rounding the corner in the editing process. I've been creeping low, but I'm getting closer and closer and closer. It's going to be out.
All right. I'm going to ask you guys to mute yourselves. Thank you so much for coming. And to everyone who attended, I'm going to have this exact panel of people back on Wednesday, January 22nd. And they're going to be coming back, and we're going to be talking and addressing the topic of protecting your energy. Wow, if you thought tonight was a powerhouse, wait until we get back on Wednesday, January 22nd at 8 p.m. to talk about how to protect your energy and giving you some solid tips on what you can do. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate y'all being here. See you soon.